Our scripture today comes from Mark chapter 7, verse 24 to 37. I'm reading from the New International Version. Jesus left the place and went to the vicinity of Tyre. He entered a house and did not want anyone to know it. Yet, he could not keep his presence in secret. In fact, as soon as she heard about him, a woman whose little daughter was possessed by an impure spirit came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, born in Syria, Phoenicia. She begged Jesus to drive the demon out of her daughter. First, the children eat all they want, he told her. For it's not right to take the children's bread and toss it into the dogs. Lord, she replied, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. Then he told her, for such a reply, you may go. The demon has left your daughter. She went home and found her child laying on the bed, and the demon was gone. From the beginning of creation, God has been looking, searching, calling for people to lead, to be strong leaders. God needs tenacious people to guide others into the promised land. God wanted someone to take care of the Garden of Eden. He created Adam and Eve. He wanted to save creation from the flood. He called Noah to build an ark to save all the animals and humanity from self-destruction. He called Abraham the father of all of us, the father of many nations. God wanted to save his people from starvation, and he used and prepared Joseph to be the head of the state of Egypt so that the people of Israel can be saved. He called Moses to deliver the people from slavery. He called Joshua, Ruth, David. God is always looking for a few strong men and women to lead his church. Today is the last day for Andy and Aaron with us. They are moving out of town. And our sending away to them is, wherever they go, to find a place where they can live. It doesn't have to be something big. They can lead in something small. But always find a place where God can put you to lead others into the light of Christ. In our scripture today, we find a strong leader called by Jesus, a faithful follower, a true disciple, the Syrophoenician woman, a woman with no name, but with a strong sense of belonging. She knew the value of her place. She knew that the place where she was, she will only receive the crumbs, the leftovers. But she found value in that particular place. She knew what she was after. She understood all of her options. She was a natural leader, a fighter, And she was going to get the most out of the situation. She knew that encountering Jesus at that moment was a lifetime opportunity. She knew that she will never have that chance again. And she was going to seize that moment. She was ready to take one's chances. And she wasn't going to let it go. This woman came to Jesus. She knew about Jesus. She knew that Jesus had arrived. This woman was Greek, had no name. She was suffering for her daughter's misfortune of being possessed by a demon. She had all the odds against her. No name, a Gentile, an outsider. And Jesus tells her, it is not your time. But this woman stood on her ground and she said, this is my time. You are here, Jesus, with me. And because you are with me, this is my time. I don't like it when people say, in God's timing, in God's time. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters, this is God's time. This is God's time to be reborn, to resurrect, to begin anew. When I give counseling to people who suffers addictions or situations, I say this is the time to change. Not tomorrow, not next year. This is it. This is God's timing. This is the time. And this woman, this Syrophoenician woman said, when Jesus told her, this is not your time. This is the time for the children of Israel to be fed. She said, yes, I understand, but this is my time also. And this is now. This woman was a natural leader. And she was a natural leader because she was very humble. She was going to make miracles with leftovers. She didn't say, I want it all. She was going to make miracles with what she had. What a humble woman. Sometimes we want to do something, but we want to wait until we graduate from school. Until I meet the perfect guy or the perfect girl. I want to do something with my life when I have all what I need. No, this woman was so humble and she says, I'm going to make the best that I can with the crumbs, with the leftovers that I'm receiving from you, my Lord. She was very humble. She was very humble because she said, I'm not better than the children of Israel. She knew her place. She knew where she was. Lord, she replied, even the dogs under the table eat the children's crumbs. She knew the power of crumbs. She knew that she can create that miracle with what she had at that moment and at that hour. And also she was so humble because she didn't have pride at all. She knew her place as she acknowledged Jesus' superiority. She knew that God was God, that she was not. She knew that she was the Messiah, that she was not the Messiah. She couldn't do anything for her daughter. She knew that God needed to be God. She wasn't going to take a place in the table. She wasn't going to take the place of the Messiah. She knew her place. What a humble way of being a leader. Also, she never requested or wanted a place in the table. We want to be first. We have the need of being acknowledged, of acknowledgement. We want not only to have a place in the table, we want to manage the table. We want to have power over the table. This woman, this Syrophoenician woman, never requested a place in the table. Matthew 20 reminds us of this mother who came to Jesus and said, please save a place of one of my two children, one in your right and one in your left, when you are in your kingdom. Most of the disciples wanted a place next to Jesus. And people wanted to be in a place with Jesus, next to him, sitting beside his throne. This woman did it. She didn't want a place in the table. She just wanted enough. Enough for the healing of her daughter. When I'm sitting here at the center, when I'm sitting with 70 homeless a day, one time one of them came to me as I was sitting in a chair in the middle of the room, just being with everybody. This gentleman comes and says, Pastor, can I sit next to you? Can I bring a chair and sit next to you so that I can sleep? And I say, why you not go and find a place in the floor? You can rest better. And he said, no, I just want to feel secure next to you as I fall asleep. I know that you will watch over me. And I said, sure, sleep. I'll be here. This Syrophoenician woman didn't want a place in the table. She just wanted to be close to Jesus, close to her master, close to the Messiah, close to God. And sometimes we need to be like this Syrophoenician woman. We just want to be close to you. We just want to feel your presence. We just want to be near your shadow. And that is what this woman did. Even if I get the leftovers, she said, I'm perfectly content because I know that that will create the miracle. This woman endured so much because she was a true leader. She was a natural leader. She was a follower of Christ because she knew who she was. She knew the power of leftovers, of crumbs. She knew that God's table always overflows. And yes, God's table always overflows. And doesn't matter where we are, we can receive the overflowing blessings of God's table. Even if they are the crumbs, even if they are the leftovers, God fills up that table so that everybody can receive life and everybody can be sustained. She did not want it all. She just wanted whatever God can give her. And God gave her the miracle. And God said, healing your daughter, taking away that demon. It's just the crumbs of what I can do for you. I can do much more. So go in peace and find your daughter well, and much more. Because God's table, it is always overflowing. But you know, the key to sit in God's table is to let God invite us to that table. Is to let God put us in that table. All of us remember the scripture of Mark chapter 9. Says the disciples were discussing, Jesus, who is the greatest among us? And Jesus welcomes a child, holds the hand of a child, holds this child in his arms, and places him in his lap. And he says, whoever becomes like a child, he sits with me. Whoever becomes a servant of all sits with me. So let God invite you to his table. Let God see you in his table. The Syrophoenician woman is a true leader, a true disciple, an example to follow. I don't know how much do you have. You may think that you only have crumbs, leftovers, but the crumbs are only the beginning of the greatest miracle in your life. Amen.